New Year's is just a few days away, and for me, 2025 has been the fastest year I've ever lived through. I don't know if it's because I'm getting older or it's because I spend so much time doom scrolling on my phone.
So at the last party, I got to inject a prescription medication into a man's stuff.
When I was a hoe, my life was easy. I'm sorry to even say that. But
Let me find out, y'all are selling cat, like for real, selling cat. Just
I I don't like girls.
But I can't believe I've lived here in this motel or this extended stay for over a year. But I have, and I feel accomplished about that. And there are some things within this year I learned, but it just went by way too quick for me. Okay. In the beginning of the year, I lost my father. I didn't get to have the relationship with my father that I wish I would have. And I know he wished we would have had, because throughout his life, he did try to reach out and have that relationship with me, but I was never receptive to that. And that's one of the biggest regrets I'm going to live with for the rest of my life coming out of 2025. 2025 also for me showed me that I can be very self-sufficient, and regardless of whatever happens, I'll figure some stuff out. I mean, I already knew that about myself, but this year pretty much solidified it for me. It also taught me that I don't need to have relationships with people just because I have a past with people. You understand? Like, I can go forward, forge new relationships that where I could be considered to be an asset in the new people's life that I'm dealing with, and they could be an asset in my life. You don't have to have these attachments to people from your past just because they're friends or family. The other thing that I've realized is that there's always a new episode, meaning every day there's going to be something new in this crazy time that we live in. It could be a new invention, it could be a new story, it could be a new scandal. There's always something. You're always following the lead. And when there's so much stuff happening, your life passes you by because you're an observer to the world, okay? And a lot of us have found ourselves being astute and observant to what's going on in the world, but we're being bombarded with a deluge of information and social changes that make our lives seem to just breeze by because we're being observant and waiting, essentially waiting on the world to end, okay? Every day is so this is going to happen or this is going to happen. This president's going to do this or this bill is going to be paid. Or needs to be paid, or this bill is going to be passed, or these people are going to do this. These, we're constantly living vicariously, parasocially through screens and through TV and through media, right? Through these social conversations. It's like this parasitical thing. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but we're feeding off each other and time is passing us by. And waiting for the world to end and waiting for the other shoe to drop, I think a lot of us have done that in order to try to validate our stagnation, right? I'm staying still until this happens, until the second Civil War breaks out, until the economy crashes, until the aliens come. That's why so many people were excited about Three-Eye Atlas, the comet that went past. They were hoping the aliens were on that shit that were going to come and change the landscape of things. There are people that are hoping that there's a race war so that they can justify years and decades of them having this hatred in their heart so they can act out and be the heroes that they see themselves in their head outwardly. And this goes for a whole lot of things. There's a lot of people that want a revolution and they want to be ahead of the revolution. So they get on here and they observe all this information. They talk, nearly having any solution and not knowing that they're just a bigger cog in the machine than they were, but we're all just serving the same freaking beast, right? We're all a part of it. But personally, within ourselves, we can separate ourselves from these parasocial relationships with people that we see online, or these politicians or celebrities, right? And we can live in our own skin and not let time pass us by so quick. And what made me very observant to this is, you hear all these scandals that these streamers have. You hear all these scandals that these celebrities have, that these politicians have. You have the Epstein list that everybody was so waiting on this list to come out, because people honestly felt like once the list came out and people saw what they would see, or this person was indicted, or this person was implicated in this, then their lives, their personal lives would change, and that this evil that permeates throughout this existence or this reality would recede, and they'll have some comfort. They'll be able to breathe and live their lives. That's what people feel. That's why people follow politics so closely. That's why I followed it so closely for all of my adult life, because I feel like, oh, okay, if this change or this this happens, then life will become easier here and there. And that's true for a certain degree. But then at some point, I realized that all who serve the machine in their role. Some people don't even know they're serving the machine. They're just, like I say, a bigger cog within the machine. That goes for politicians. That goes for the elite. That goes for your bosses, the CEOs. Some of these people are serving a demonic system, not knowing that they're serving it. And so are we, whether we're, clocking in to be the person that evicts people, or the person that processes papers for the machine, or even the person that serves fast food to people to clog their arteries and stuff. We're all serving the machine in a way. We're all a cog in this machine. Or whether or not you don't work at all and you just receive a check from the system, that benefits the system too. We're all serving the machine. It's just in different capacities. And when you realize that in a way, you kind of go inward and say, okay, the world's not going to change. The world's going to always be crazy. Like I say, there's always going to be a new episode. There's always going to be a new episode of bullshit. If you let it envelop you, then your life will truly pass you by. And I feel like 2025 is one of those years where a lot of us have been so observant to the things that are going on around us with the changes and everything, that the year itself seemed to just hop, skip, and jump. Summer went by quick as hell. Freaking this past holiday season was nigh a holiday season. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, going back into November, late October, they were going to take away people's food stamps and stuff. So people weren't even planning on having a Thanksgiving, a Christmas. People want to give their kids the world because they feel like if they don't, their kids will resent them when they get older and all this other crap. And in a lot of cases, they do, because it's just trending for kids to say, okay, I'm going to go no contact with my parents because they didn't give me X, Y, and Z. We're living in a very trying time. We're having these conversations and we're having these debates and these back and forths. And in our own lives, how are we improving? In a lot of cases, we're not. We're hypnotized by this social and digital grip that the machine has on us. Okay, our phones are constantly taking pictures of us. It's constantly analyzing us, constantly trying to sell us things, constantly trying to extract emotion and value from us in order to digitize this physical reality so they can mimic it with their whole AI bullshit, right? That's what they're doing, and we all feed into this machine. Whether you shop online, right? Whether you clock in at work, whatever you do, we all feed this machine. And when you see that shit, you say, okay, at some point I'm going to serve the machine. Doesn't mean I have to sell my soul. But how can I serve the machine and serve myself at the same time? How can I advance from the place that I'm at right now and get myself into a better position to where, yeah, I may be a bigger cog in the machine, but the machine greases me a little bit better. I'm a little bit more lubed up. You know what I'm saying? The machine keeps me a little bit more viable because I'm a more viable asset to the machine. And it's unfortunate that we live in this type of reality that we have to serve such a system. I know for me, I need to get back into the gym. Right? Like, I know doing my home workouts and everything are great, but gym results are different types of results. And then, of course, everybody says, men always say go to the gym, but the gym builds a lot of confidence and discipline. And it is a third place outside of work and home to go to and get your mind right. Okay. And like I said, the results speak for themselves. This was just me a year ago because I was in the gym. Not in the gym right now. A little bit more pudgy, a little bit more, you know what I'm saying? But I'm also a vegetarian too, so my muscles ain't gonna look as deep. All vanity going into 2026. But these are things that I care about, you know what I mean? But what if this was my last year? We never know when we're gonna go. We never know when we up out of here. You know what I'm saying? To even get to 2025, to have been born in 1982, to even get to this point, I feel blessed to get to this point. I hope, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, the new year hasn't happened yet, that I can get through the new year, survive the new year. I don't plan on doing anything on New Year's Day. I've done that. I've gone down to the strip with all those goddamn people. I've been surrounded, had every inch of my body touching all these other people's bodies because there's no moving room, and I refuse to do that. It is right up the street up here. It's very easy for me just to go and surround myself in that. I do like the energy, but it's just once the ball drops and the fireworks go off and everything, getting out of there, it's crazy work. My goals is to enjoy life a little bit more because, like I said, what if you never know when you're going to go? We always plan for a future that we don't have no guarantee that we're going to be a part of. I can always say, well, a year from now, this X, Y, Z, and you should plan for those things. But at the same time, you have to enjoy every single day like it's the last day on earth, right? And be grateful that you even got to this point to be able to make plans for the next year. You understand? Or even to say, okay, I want to do this and that in the next year. Live, just keep living, keep living, keep living. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on your goals. Don't give up on your dreams. Just, you got to act on it. The world is going to be the world. The world's going to always have a new bullshit ass episode for you, a new challenge, some more bullshit. But the only thing that we can change to change the world is ourselves. And that's one of the biggest things that I've come to realize in this year. I can make videos talking about these people or these people, and I will, because it's what I do. And I can have fun doing that. But at the end of the day, if I want the world to change, I have to change my perception of the world. I have to change who I am on the inside in order for the world to change. Otherwise, it just won't, right? We only perceive the universe through our own eyes, period. And if you can't change your perception of the world, or you can't change your position in the world, or where you stand and how you can see where you can go, how the fuck do you expect the world to change? If everything in the world is against you, if everybody's against you, if everything is against you, if all, of course, that's how you're going to perceive the world. That's how you're going to take on the world. And sometimes the things that you perceive that are against you, they're not even focused on you. So you're putting challenges in front of you that you don't need to. You're like a roach under a foot of a person that's not even trying to step on you, but you just keep running under the goddamn foot, but they trying to avoid you. And you just keep, you know what I'm saying? Some of y'all are literally that, and y'all are making your own problems as opposed to just finding your own path and getting the fuck up out of there, right? Like, we have to understand that, because it's all about perception. If I sit here and I just, let's say, oh, the world is against me, and this, and for years, that's how I perceive things. This is going to keep me back, and this is going to keep me back. Well, yeah, of course it's going to keep you back, because that's the only thing you see. But if I say, okay, the world's going to be the world, and these are the episodes that it's going to put in front of me, regardless of whatever the episodes they put in front of me, this is my path. I'm just going to trudge through that bullshit, right? If it's not going to set me back. It's just it may inconvenience me. It may take some things from me, but it's not going to keep me off the path that I want to be on. And what is the path that you want to be on? That's up for you to decide. Don't let other influencers or other people tell you what your goals need to be in this life, or going forward, going into 2026, 2027, or whatever the case may be. Let that shit go. Find where you want to be happy in yourself, right? And people are going to perceive you the way they're going to perceive you. There's no way of stopping that, right? But if it's going to make you whole and make you a better person as a being, as an entity, then do what makes you happy. I'm going to go ahead and say that, because it could be your last few days on earth. It could be your last day on earth. You never know. If you want to take a trip somewhere, just take a trip somewhere. Go, have you some lunch, come back. If you want to go and shoot your shot at somebody that you've been attracted to forever, go and shoot your shot at that person. If they say no, if they don't want nothing to do with you, they ignore you, it is what it is. Don't let it hurt you. Move on to the next one. But pretend, say to yourself, this is the last year on earth. This is the last year I'm going to have the opportunity to do the things that I want to do in this life, and go for them. As long as you're not fucking over other people in the process, then I say, you good to go in my book. Like, right? I mean, who am I? But that's how I feel. As long as I'm not fucking somebody over in order to get what I'm trying to get in order to get to where I'm trying to get to, then I feel like I'm good to go. You understand? That's what this is about. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Going into 2026, I think that 2026 is going to be a crazy year, in the sense that a lot of things are going to change. I think that 2025 was to set us up for the madness, and to see how much because you have all these people, like I said, I brought up the Epstein files earlier. When the Epstein files come out, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, and we're going to do this, and nothing is going to happen. And Elite knew y'all wasn't going to do nothing, because they have a monopoly on the money, they have a monopoly on the police, they have a monopoly on everything. So when files come out that may put them in a negative light, or they may redact some things, you may have some questions about some murders or some molestations or whatever, don't matter really, unless you are really physically willing to put yourself on the line. I see video after video, people saying, y'all not willing to do nothing, nobody's doing nothing about this, what we need to do. Then you can light this candle. Nobody's stopping you from lighting the candle. If you want to be the revolutionary person that puts a freaking monkey wrench in the machine, then go right ahead. Just understand that you have to be willing to deal with the challenges that come with that, right? Just don't get online criticizing everybody else because they're not willing to be that monkey wrench in the machine. People want to plan out for the future. They want to have a good 2026. In the back of their mind, they still want a piece of the American dream. As much as people say that it is dead, that's what people are working for every day. Why are people getting up every day and going to work if it's not for that dream? If the dream was dead, they wouldn't do it, right? If the dream was really dead, they wouldn't still serve their masters. We wouldn't serve our masters. We wouldn't serve this machine. But every day we get up because we do still feel a little bit comfortable as the cogs that we are, as the slaves that we are in the machine, and how we serve this machine, and enough to where we don't do anything to become the monkey wrench to break the machine. If you want to be that person, go right ahead and do it. And I'm not over here advocating for people to do nothing crazy, but I'm just saying it takes a lot of guts. It takes resources. It takes balls. It takes networking. It takes more than just sabotage. It takes more than just going in, oh, we're going to go blow up a mailbox, or we're going to go shoot up something, or we're going to go and scare these people. That doesn't scratch the machine at all. That's like if you ever touch the tank, you see how hard the armor is. That's like taking a pin and scratching the tank. It does nothing. You understand? You're barely a dent. You're not even a dent. You're nothing if you just carry out heinous crimes in order to, disrupt the system. That doesn't work. You have to have planning. There has to be foresight. You have to have contingency. There can't just be, well, I'm going to do this, and if it goes wrong, then that's how most idiots think. That's why most people end up in jail or dead, because the machine squashes those people. They have a plan. They try to execute that plan. When the plan goes awry, there are never any contingencies ever. There's no extra escape plans. There's no plan B, C, D, because these people are not smart enough to come up with those conclusions. They're working out of anger and out of a sense of lack. You understand? They're not working out of a spirit of real revolution. They're working out of feeling slighted because the world is against them. They're working out of anger, and when you work out of anger, it's not going to necessarily do it. Or righteous indignation without, like I say, proper planning. That's just going to get you squashed. And not only is it going to get you squashed, they're going to turn your own whatever movement against you by saying you're a terrorist or you're whatever, anarchist, whatever they put you. They'll put whatever label they want to use you as an example, either bury you or throw you away in a dungeon for the rest of your life. You have to have better planning. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope I'm not saying too much. I hope 2026 is very profitable and very magical for us all. With that being said, I'll catch y'all next time. Bye-bye.